Well, welcome everyone to the BN Mentorship Network event. This is for the Bursary for Internationally Educated Nurses. So we go by BN, and BN is administered by RHPAP. Just so everyone's aware of RHPAP, we help support rural healthcare. So we keep healthcare close to home. And it's been a great fit for us to administer the BN program that's funded by the Government of Alberta, the Ministry of Advanced Education, as its purpose is to support IENs as they complete their bridging training. So we provide funding for you to do your bridging training and then in return work in rural Alberta for a set term as your return in service term. So part of your requirements as a BN recipient is to complete that bridging program, of course, and then you'll have 6 months after you complete your program to secure your licensing and full-time rural employment. And I think we often focus on that rural employment piece, getting that full-time employment in a BN eligible community. But you do need to have your licensing. It's part of your return in service agreement. And also, practically, you'll need that to get your employment. So I'm really happy today that we can explore that piece a bit more because you do have such a quick turnaround from completing your bridging program to needing to get your licensing and employment within 6 months. So if we can address your questions and just make it a really simple or at least understandable process for what that will look like for you, I hope that that will support you in your journey to working as a rural nurse. So I'm very thankful to be joined by CLHA and CRNA. So they're going to each chat for 20 minutes to enlighten us, and then we will have a Q&A session at the end and a short survey to see how you felt about this event. So we want to make sure that we are always improving and giving you guys what you need to be successful. So I will stop sharing this screen and move on to the CLHA. Take it away,
Hey,
Shelley.
thanks, Abigail. Hi, everyone. My name is Shelley McGregor. I'm the Deputy Registrar and Director of Registration and Competence here at CLHA, which is the College of Licensed Practical Nurses and Healthcare Aides of Alberta. And thank you for the opportunity to be able to meet with you today to really talk about why as a college we exist, the registration requirements to become an LPN, and as well as to share some of the support available to you as you begin your application process with us. So we'll go to the next one, Abigail. So the CLHA now regulates licensed practical nurses and healthcare aides of Alberta. Um, so we actually have to be given the authority through legislation to actually regulate. And the premise is to provide to help provide public safety in regards to ensuring our registrants are have the competencies to practice as a licensed practical nurse and a healthcare aide. So our first source of information is certainly the Health Professions Act, which outlines, that we have the authority to regulate LPNs and HCAs. We also have to follow other acts of legislation such as human rights, privacy acts, and so on as we regulate. Further definement of our registration requirements are in our regulations. Our bylaws provide for us to have a council and committees. We have standards of practice, such as the continuing competence program, restricted activities, and so on. We have our code of ethics as well, and our college policy. And all of those are steps to providing the legislation, the background, to bring us to the registration requirements, which we all need to meet to become an LPN. So there's three registers at CLHA. The first is a general register, meaning that LPNs meet all the requirements of registration to become a licensed practical nurse. We have provisional, which means individuals can still practice as an LPN. They meet all the requirements of registration, except for passing the regulation exam. So during the time they're on the provisional register, which lasts for a year, they individuals practice with supervision, and it gives them an opportunity to study for the exam, if they wish to go on to have a general permit at the end of their provisional time. And we also have a courtesy register, which is a very small register, and it's used for other nurses that are LPNs that are registered in other Canadian provinces that want to come in, practice in Alberta for a very short time frame, such as supporting with tragedies like fires and so on, or they may have a clinical practice, short clinical practice that they need to be regulated for. So now the LPN registrants that we have, just under 21,000. There's been about a 13% increase in LPNs in Alberta since the last 5 years. We receive applications from Alberta graduates, from other Canadian provinces, and internationally educated. Healthcare aides just became regulated in February. We have over 36,000 regulated healthcare aides now in Alberta. Again, our applications come in through graduates of healthcare aid programs in Alberta from other Canadian provinces and also internationally educated professionals. So as we accept applications, we really before we accept them, we really want to provide transparency and guidance for individuals throughout the process. So we have tools and guides on our certainly on our website. We have a section for LPNs and then internationally educated, as well as other applicant routes, such as Alberta graduates and Canadian provinces and so on. We have step-by-step instructions on our website. We have an IDN handbook. We have opportunities for consultations with a competence advisor who will walk you through the process, but also if you have questions about your education, about any of the other requirements, they're there to support you, so that you can have an informed, be able to make an informed decision if it's, what you need and what the process is. We also clear statement of the requirements and the costs on our website. And we also have service standards and timelines, which we strive very hard to meet. There are legislated timeframes, certainly for different applicants that we have. So those timelines are on our website as well. This is a very large list of requirements that we do have. And again, these requirements initially come from the Health Professions Act, and then they're more defined through regulations and policies and so on. So the first one is the education. Again, Alberta approved programs, Canadian programs, and international programs are really the three areas that we assess for education. There is an exam requirement. So the LPN national exam is a Canadian practical nurse regulatory exam. That's the usual exam that LPN applicants take, but we also accept the REXPN exam, which is a practical nurse exam that is also accepted in some Canadian provinces, and the NCLEX RN, which is the accepted or approved exam here for RNs in most of the Canadian provinces, all the Canadian provinces, I guess, and here in Alberta, of course. You'll need to provide identification, two pieces of identification. Government issued needs to be current, recent, and also one piece needs to have a photo. Our practice hours requirement are 1,000 hours in 4 years. Those hours can be obtained through not only practicing as an LPN, but also certainly through your education. So if you're in an education program, that certainly qualifies, as do some other things as well. Good character and reputation. So there's questions on the application that asks it, if you have any, if you're regulated with any other jurisdiction or professional body, if you have any conditions, if there's been any issues in conduct, those type of things. Also asks if there's any criminal charges, convictions. We do require criminal record check, and that is all through our application. Fitness to practice. We do ask questions in relation to if you are, if there's any limitations to you providing safe patient care. English language proficiency. I will outline that in a little more detail in another slide. Also, as I mentioned, if you are a member or a registrant in another nursing jurisdiction anywhere throughout the world, we do ask for verifications that you're in good standing. There's an obligation requirement to purchase professional liability insurance for your protection as well as protection of patients, and that as well as through the application process. There's an application and permit fee, and again, those are outlined on our website. And there's also required education on protecting patients in regards to sexual abuse and sexual misconduct. And that is a requirement through the Health Professions Act. So internationally educated professionals, there's two ways that we can obtain assessments. Because internationally educated folks take various programs throughout the world. It's not like Alberta graduates that we know have gone through approved programs with all the same curriculum and competencies. So there is an obligation for us to assess to make sure that folks have the competencies to provide safe, competent care. And the assessments on, pardon me, those competencies and credentials can come through either the National Nursing Assessment Service or come directly from the applicant to the college. So in regards to competency assessments, we look at education and curriculum and competency-based. There are entry to level competencies in Canada for licensed practical nurses that we need to base our assessment on. And we may require additional information to support the application, such as maybe job descriptions, references, and so on. So anything that comes into us that we need to assess, such as curriculum, credential assessments, reference letters, and so on, we accept them from the primary source. And as we know, no one size fits all, because education may be different in different countries. Nursing may be the focal point of the individual's education, but folks may not be called nurses. There may be a different title. So really, anyone can apply to CLHA, and we need to base our assessments on their actual education and the credentials that they have. The English language proficiency, there's always a lot of questions in regards to that, and there's many different ways that can be met, such that if the nursing program education has been completed in any country where English is a language of instruction, if folks graduated from a 2-year, non-practical nurse program in Canada, where English was the language of instruction. If you completed secondary school in English in any country, have current nursing registration in their Canadian jurisdiction where English language proficiency has been assessed as being met, successfully met the standard of either the Canadian English language benchmark assessment for nurses or the International English Language Testing System. And if your employer provides verification that you have been providing health services primary in English. We often get the question, so why do we do this? Why do we, assess applicants? Why do we register LPNs and healthcare aides? It's essentially for public protection. And our public register is something that's on our website, and any member of the public can go in at any time and check to make sure that an LPN, a healthcare aide, is registered, and to be assured that they have the education and the competence to be able to provide care, safe care. So on our public register, the LPN name, there's a unique registration number for each registrant, the time frame that the permit is effective for, conditions, if there's any conditions or restrictions on the permit, suspensions or cancellations, if the permit has been suspended, say for not renewing, if there's any specializations or authorizations. There are a few LPN authorizations that individuals need to have special education for. And then if there's any restricted activity authorizations not normally provided, or if there's authorizations not to provide certain restricted activities. Along with being initially registered, there's also renewal registration requirements. CLHA's practice year is from December 1st to November 30th. And everyone needs to register, renew the registration by November 30th. So what needs to be maintained to renew your registration, there's practice requirements. You have to, again, answer attestation that you fit to practice safely. Professional liability insurance needs to be purchased every year. There's good character and reputation questions on the application as we reviewed. There's continuing competence requirements that nurses need to participate in so that they can maintain the competence in their area of practice, and there's a permit fee. That's it. But I believe, Abigail, there's going to be time for questions after.
Yes, that's right. We're going to leave the questions for the end. So I think we are ready for CRNA to start the presentation.
My name is Lisa Marie Hall, and I'm the Manager of Navigation Services with CRNA. And I'm going to pass it over to Chi, who will be presenting today, and I'm doing the technical stuff. And so I'm going to be on mute and off camera because I can't see anything.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chi Obiokoye. I'm a navigator with CRNA, and we work within the service delivery team at the CRNA. The service delivery team is dedicated to supporting applicants throughout their journey, from exploring eligibility to successfully submitting their applications. Our department ensures a smooth and efficient experience by providing guidance, troubleshooting, and personalized support at every stage of the application process. At this point, I'm going to put off my camera so we can all focus on the slides. During today's presentation, you would receive a step-by-step presentation on the application process, insights into our role as a regulator, and information and resources about the customer support that is available to you. The topics we will review include who is the CRNA and roles within Alberta's healthcare ecosystem, supports available to you, the College Connect portal, application requirements, and we'll take some questions at the end of our presentation. Let's start with who the CRNA is. The College of Registered Nurses of Alberta, also known as the CRNA, is a regulatory body responsible for protecting the public and providing excellent service to its registrants. Although college is in our name, the CRNA is not an educational institution. The CRNA is responsible for governing and regulating registered nurses, RNs, nurse practitioners, NPs, certified graduate nurses, CGNs, graduate nurses, GNs, and graduate nurse practitioners, GNPs. Under the Health Professions Act, the CRNA is responsible for establishing and maintaining the following: registration requirements and issuing permits to qualified individuals to allow them to practice in Alberta, a nursing education program approval framework, continuing competence requirements to ensure registrants stay current in their practice, standards of practice and a code of ethics to provide guidance for the behaviors and conduct expected from our registrants, a complaints management framework to act on complaints concerning our registrants and holding them accountable. The CRNA's Council provides governance and oversight to ensure that CRNA is accountable and fulfilling its duties under the Health Professions Act. As a regulator, please note that the CRNA is unable to assist with immigration process, job searches, or employment. The government protects the public through legislative authorities. This includes passing bills that have effects on how a regulatory body operates. Employers are responsible for setting hiring practices and identifying candidates that are qualified to fulfill job vacancies, providing the required training to ensure its employees are equipped for the specific healthcare environment where they work, and supervising employees and reporting issues or events to the relevant regulatory body. Associations work to advance, develop, and advocate for the profession of nursing. Associations are responsible for advocating to the government and the public on behalf of nurses and the nursing profession, and they also connect members and provide services, supports, and resources to their members. Unions advocate for safe and equitable workplaces for nurses in unionized positions. Unions are responsible for helping to resolve workplace issues for nurses and representing nurses in bargaining in their profession and in disputes with employers and professional licensing bodies. The application process can be challenging, but you're not alone. There are many supports available to help you navigate each stage. In this section, I will walk you through the tools and services that you can rely on. First off, we have the customer service experts. They are available to assist applicants throughout the application process. They provide support for troubleshooting issues such as login problems, technical difficulties, and questions about how to submit required documents. If an applicant encounters an issue while navigating the system or needs clarification on application steps, a customer service expert is the first point of contact to ensure a smooth application experience. You can contact the customer service experts between 8:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. Mountain Time, Mondays to Fridays, by telephone at 1-800-252-9392. You can also email them at registration@nurses.ab.ca. We also have the registrant navigators. They provide personalized guidance to applicants before they start their application. They offer detailed advice tailored to each applicant's unique situation, helping them understand the correct pathway to apply. Navigators can assess whether applicants meet the necessary requirements, and if not, provide guidance on how to fulfill those requirements. You can contact them by submitting a request on our website at any time or by scanning the QR code shown on the screen. Case management, the next is the case management. Case management is a team of subject matter experts that offer guidance to applicants and registrants about registration and continuing competence requirements, practice standards, scope of practice, and code of ethics. Under legislated authority, registered nurse consultants make decisions on applications for registration when one or more requirements are not met. You can contact them by submitting a request on our website at any time or by scanning the QR code. An additional resource that is available to you is the permit requirement worksheet. The worksheet was designed to assist you in completing your initial registration application, and it can be found at our website at any time or by scanning the QR code shown on the screen. The worksheet is a 3-page document that contains a breakdown of the steps needed to complete your application. College Connect is the CRNA's registrant and applicant portal. College Connect directly links the CRNA with registrants and applicants. You will use this platform to manage your permit or application for a permit, find regulatory information, and access services. You can access College Connect anywhere, anytime, and on any device. You need an email address to create a College Connect account, and we recommend using a personal email address, not a work or a school email address. There are 10 requirements, and all applicants must meet the same 10 requirements regardless of their application pathway. The evidence or documents to demonstrate you meet a requirement varies based on your application type. You will be required to provide information or evidence for each requirement in your application. Each step in the application that is found in College Connect corresponds with the 10 application requirements listed on the screen. Now we will demo how you will get to the correct application. You will go to our website, which is crna.com, and you will click on Apply for a Nursing Permit. Then you click on Pathways to a Permit, and you will then be asked a series of questions about your education and experience that will identify the correct application for you. You will select Start Application. Okay. You will then follow the prompts to create your account. You would need an email address to register with the College Connect, and there is an account creation fee of $236.25. If you already have an account, you do not need to pay again. Part of the account creation step is confirming your identity. You would need to validate your identity through our partner Trulio. This is an automated tool, and you would need a computer or a phone camera and a valid government-issued photo identification. The accepted forms of ID include driver's license, passport, residence permit, example, the Canadian Permanent Resident Card, or a government-issued identity card. It must be a photo identification. We do not accept healthcare cards because they are not photo ID. The first step of the application is the profile accuracy. You will confirm your address, phone numbers, email address, and employer information. You can select edit and you'll be able to update that information as well. It is important to keep all your personal information up to date, your address, email address, phone number, and your employer information. The next step is the criminal record check. Criminal record checks are conducted through our partner Sterling Backcheck as part of the application process for all new applicants at no extra cost. The Sterling Backcheck link expires within 10 days, so please be prepared to complete this step as soon as you select Send Email. If your link expires, you would need to contact a customer service expert to have it resent. The next step is the nursing education. The CRNA requires verification of your nursing education to evaluate your eligibility to receive a practicing permit in Alberta. To confirm that your education is valid and equal to the standards set for Canadian workers, the CRNA will be evaluating your nursing education on a post-secondary education verification. The CRNA accepts education assessments from the following organizations: International Qualifications Assessment Service, IQAS, World Education Services, WES, International Credential Assessment Service of Canada, ICAS, International Credential Evaluation Service, British Columbia Institute of Technology, ICES, Comparative Education Service, University of Toronto, School of Continuing Studies, CES Toronto, National Nursing Assessment Service, NNAS. You will confirm you understand that, and to complete this step, the CRNA must receive the evidence directly from one of the assessment services listed. Next, we have the nursing exams. This step will explain the steps for writing your NCLEX RN exam and a link to begin the registration process between the CRNA and Pearson VUE. When you're prepared to write the NCLEX RN exam with Pearson VUE, you must log into your College Connect account, scroll down to the nursing exam step in your application, and click on Request NCLEX RN exam. In this service, our system will check your eligibility to write the exam based on the application. And if successful, an email will be sent with instructions to register with the testing authority, Pearson VUE. During this process, you will also be asked if you want custom testing arrangements, CTA, to write the exam. If yes, there will be a form to download to provide to your medical professional to fill out. The form can then be uploaded directly in the registrant's service for review. The next step is required courses. All applicants must complete the online education courses Protecting Patients from Sexual Abuse and Misconduct and Jurisprudence as a prerequisite for receiving a practice permit with the CRNA. These are free online courses that can be completed on your home computer within a couple of hours. We recommend completing each course in one sitting. Due to the sensitive and/or triggering subject matter of the Protecting Patients course, if an applicant cannot complete the course, you will indicate so by selecting the checkbox. This checkbox is intended only for applicants who cannot complete the Protecting Patients course because the course is sensitive or triggering. If you're able to complete the course, please do not select this box. When you're ready to complete the courses, you can press the Start Course button, and that will take you to the screen where you can complete both courses. Once you have completed the courses, it can take up to 15 minutes for your course results to be sent back to the application. The next step is the English language. You will meet the English language proficiency requirement if you have completed one of the following items. At any time you successfully completed a nursing education program of at least 2 years of full-time study in Canada, where the theory and clinical were provided in English. Within the last 2 years, you completed either the CELBAN exam or the IELTS academic exam, and their minimum scores that we require for each of these exams are seen on the screen. The CELBAN and the IELTS test results expire 2 years from the date you complete the test. Another option to meet the English language is within the past 5 years, you successfully completed a nursing education program of at least 2 years of full-time study outside of Canada, where the theory and clinical were provided in English, or you practiced as a nurse for at least 250 hours in a jurisdiction where the healthcare services are provided in English. You will confirm that you have met one of these requirements by attesting that you meet the English language proficiency requirement. The next step is the currency of practice. You will meet the currency of practice requirements if you have completed one of the following. Within the 2 years prior to your application, you completed at least 450 hours of nursing practice, including RN and NP hours, or within the 5 practice years prior to your application. Remember, only one is required. You successfully completed an approved nursing education program. You completed at least 1,125 hours of nursing practice, includes RN and NP hours. You successfully completed the Registered Nurses Canadian Competence Assessment Program, RNCCAP, formerly known as ANAP, with results showing RN level competence. You successfully completed a recognized nursing bridging program, or you successfully completed an approved program leading to re-entry to nursing practice, also known as a nursing refresher program. The CRNA's practice year runs from October 1st to September 30th of each year. You will confirm that you have met one of these requirements by attesting, yes, you meet the currency of practice requirement. If you don't meet the currency of practice requirement, please request a consultation with the Registrant Navigator Service, and we will be able to assist you with options on how to meet this requirement. The next step is the fitness to practice. You must demonstrate fitness to practice to be registered with the CRNA. In order to demonstrate this, you must be able to truthfully answer no to the following questions. You will confirm you do not have a physical or mental health condition or disorder that impairs your ability to provide nursing care. And you will confirm that you do not have an addiction to or dependence to alcohol, drugs, or other chemicals that impairs your ability to provide nursing care. If one of these situations applies to you, your application will be escalated for review. Next is good character. You must demonstrate good character and reputation to be registered with the CRNA. In order to demonstrate this, you must be able to truthfully answer no to all of the following questions. Have you been disciplined or had conditions imposed due to unprofessional conduct by a nursing or professional body other than the CRNA? Have you pled guilty or been found guilty of a criminal offense inside Canada or an offense of similar nature outside Canada? Have you had your registration or license denied, revoked, cancelled, or suspended due to unprofessional conduct by a nursing or professional body other than the CRNA? Have you had a judgment in a civil action against you with respect to nursing practice? If any of these situations applies to you, your application will be escalated for review. Next is the other nursing permit. You will confirm the information in this step is correct. If you currently hold a nursing permit outside of Alberta, you can add it here if you have not already done so. Next is the confirm permit effective date. This step is for you to choose a date between today's date to 90 days in the future. Once you have selected a date, an estimated cost breakdown will appear, which you will confirm. After you confirm this date, you cannot change it without direct assistance from the CRNA. Your permit will be made effective on the date you selected, or if that date has passed, the date the permit is issued on. You cannot practice or provide nursing services until your permit has been approved. Excuse me. If you choose an effective date between May 1st and September 30th, your permit fee will be reduced accordingly. The professional liability protection you will purchase in the next step from Canadian Nurses Protective Services, CNPS, must be valid for the same practice year as your permit. Our practice year runs annually from October 1st to September 30th. Next is the professional liability. You would need to purchase professional liability protection and core services with the Canadian Nurses Protective Society, CNPS. The information you provide to CNPS would need to match your name and number found in the top right-hand corner of your College Connect account. You would need to select Alberta as the province and registered nurse as the nursing designation. Applicants need to purchase the basic CNPS professional liability protection and cost services. So that will be the lowest cost option. If you choose to purchase a membership with AAN, which is the Alberta Association of Nurses, you will get a discount on CNPS professional liability protection. After you have successfully purchased liability protection, CNPS will email you a receipt. Afterwards, you must log back into your College Connect account, open the professional liability requirements step, and select check status. This will make the application system confirm you have purchased the liability insurance. If the requirement does not show as completed, you may have not provided correct information. Your name or your registration number may not match, or you did not select the correct practice year, or you did not fully finish buying the liability insurance with CNPS. If the information you provided is incorrect, you would need to contact CNPS and provide the correct information. Next is the payment. Our permit fee is $504 and is only collected once per registrant per practice year. Applicants who apply for permits during May, June, July, August, or September will pay a fee based on the number of months remaining in the year. And lastly, we have the declare and submit. In each box, you will enter your initials declaring that the statement is true. Once you have entered your initials, you will be able to click the submit button. Once your application has been submitted, you will not be able to go back in to make any changes. Your application will be reviewed once all required documentation has been received, and applications are processed in the order they are received. Once your application is approved, you will be able to see your permits on the left-hand side of your account. You would see your registration number, permit effective date, permit expiry date, and when your initial registration date is. If you flip the permit, you will see if you have any conditions or restrictions. That's what our permit looks like. You can print or email a copy of your permits. You can also save a digital copy to Google and Apple Wallet. All registrants must renew their permits annually to continue practicing in Alberta. Your application will appear on the College Connect homepage once renewal opens. Our renewal opens on August 1st and closes September 30th at 11:59 Mountain Time. A complete application and fee must be submitted by September 30th, 2026 to ensure you can work between October 1st, 2026 and September 30th, 2027. To learn more about how to renew a permit, you can register for the permit renewal webinar that is taking place on July 22nd, 2026. We will now take questions. Thank you.
Okay, I want to, before we move into the questions, just give a huge thank you to our presenters. That was really helpful, especially for me. I was new to this world of licensing and registration. So thank you for that. I took a bunch of notes and yeah, that was great. And I hope that the BN recipients also found it helpful. Beverly has a question. If you have already have the NCLEX RN exam and you don't have the latest practice in nursing, what are the next steps? Can you use your LPN clinical hours if you graduated as an LPN here in Alberta?
If I'm understanding the question correctly, they don't have currency of practice. So the next option would be to complete a bridging program. And then once they complete that, then they would meet the currency of practice requirement.
Okay, so she had a follow-up question. Do you accept good standing if the candidate came to the middle of East?
All right, I'm going to answer that. So Beverly,
Okay.
standing. Okay, so for all applicants, the document we require is an education credential assessment, right? That would show the Canadian equivalency of the nursing education you did back home. So we don't exactly need a good standing, which is a verification document, regardless of where you come from, Middle East, whichever country, we don't exactly need a verification. What we need is an education credential assessment report from any of those organizations we listed: WES, IQAS, NNAS, ICAS, and CES. I hope this answers your question. But if you would like to discuss further, you can book a consultation with us and we can ask you more questions based on the peculiarity of your case. Thank you.
Thank you. That's perfect. Okay, so another question was, I currently have eligibility to write the NCLEX through New York State, and I'm planning to take the exam through that jurisdiction. If I successfully pass the NCLEX, could you please advise me on the next steps and the process I would need to follow to become registered here in Alberta?
Okay, thank you for that question. So once you've passed the NCLEX RN exam with any regulatory body, we accept it. However, we would still require you to meet certain requirements. So we would advise that you book a consultation so we can ask you questions such as, do you meet our currency of practice? Within the last 2 years, have you worked as a registered nurse for this number of hours? Or within the last 5 years, have you worked as a registered nurse? The reason we ask that you book a consultation before you start an application is because we have an assessment fee that is non-refundable. So we've had instances where applicants that have passed their exam go ahead and start the application. We now receive their education credential assessment report, and the state's Canadian equivalency is not comparable. In that case, you would have to do a bridging program. The assessment fee you've paid will not be refunded to you, but your file with us will still be there for when you complete your bridging program. So if you've passed your NCLEX exam or if you've not, we advise that you book a consultation with us. We would share the screen again so you can see the QR code. You can scan that QR code and book a consultation with us so we can ask you questions before you start your application.
Great. So Alice has a question. For CRNA registration, if I'm currently in the BCN program, how many times am I allowed to fail the NCLEX? If I continue to be unsuccessful after the maximum number of attempts, what are my options?
All right, so I see you have a lot of questions, Alice, which is good. The more questions we can answer this, because these questions might apply to other people. So when you complete, we advise that a month before you complete your bridging program, you can contact us and start your application. Because from what Abigail said, you have 6 months to get your permits, whether CRNA, RN permits, or CLHA permits, and get a job. So a month before you complete your bridging program, contact us and start an application. Once you complete your bridging program, the school will send us a program completion form as evidence that you've completed that program successfully. When we receive that, you're eligible for the exam, and we send you an email stating you're eligible for the exam. Once you receive that email, you have unlimited attempts to take the exam within 2 years. So for example, if we send you the email on 1st of July 2026, stating that you're eligible to write the exam, unlimited attempts, but you must pass it by 1st of July 2028. So that's it, unlimited attempts within 2 years of when we issue exam eligibility. The second question you're asking, are you allowed to work as a graduate nurse while waiting to write the NCLEX? Unfortunately, no. So for internationally educated nurses, although you complete a bridging program here in Canada, you're not eligible for a graduate nurse permit. So you have to pass the NCLEX exam and move straight on to being a registered nurse. Third question you have, Alice, if you take the NCLEX and you do not pass, will that affect your registration or eligibility with CRNA? Give me a second. If you take the NCLEX through New York and you do not pass, no, it would. No, it wouldn't. So your application with us is different from your application with New York Board of Nursing or Education Department. If you take the exam with New York and you do not pass it, we can give you exam eligibility based on if you meet our requirements, like if you completed a bridging program and we've gotten your nursing education credential assessment. So these are two separate applications. If you fail with New York, that's fine. You can get eligibility from us and you will have 2 years to attend the exam with us as many times as you need to until you pass. And your last question, would a failed NCLEX attempt through New York count towards the number of NCLEX attempts permitted by CRNA? No, it won't. They are two separate regulatory bodies, two separate exam eligibility. So you can fail with New York as many times as you want to, not that you would fail, but it doesn't affect your CRNA application. Once you get the eligibility from us, you can attempt as many times as you need to within 2 years.
Great. And then there is a question for Shelley. So as a new graduate LPN, will my temporary license be revoked if I fail the exam on my first attempt?
No, not at all. You have 3 opportunities while you have a provisional permit to pass exam.
So the bridging students are given a provisional permit for LPN, but not for RN now. And they can hold both an LPN and RN license and work as both of those, depending on what employment opportunities are given to them. Is that right? Great.
Yeah, it's just really important to remember that that you're working within your scope. If if you are an LPN and you're working as an LPN, those credentials are being used in.
I would like to add to what Shelley said because we've had people ask us this in the past.
Okay.
So with your RN permit, you can't work as an LPN. Your RN permit makes you eligible to work only as an RN. So if you also want to work as an LPN, you must meet the requirements and get the LPN permit. So two separate permits for two different roles and job functions in the hospital. Even if it's the same hospital, with your RN permit, you can't work as an LPN.
For the portal for their RN license, they were unable to provide payment because the confirm permit effective start date was coming up as an error. They weren't able to edit it and save it. So it sounds like from your presentation that they need some direct assistance from CRNA. Who would they reach out to for that?
I would recommend that they contact the customer service experts.
Okay, so the phone number, 1-800-252-9392. Great. And then how long does it take after completing that registration form on the portal to then receive an active license?
It depends how long it takes to get the supporting documents that we need and then for their application to be assessed. So it can take 3 to 4 weeks once we have everything.
For the CNPS professional liability, it says on the website, I believe, that it should upload within 2 hours after you purchase it. But if it's not showing that it's uploaded, it's still just saying the status is in progress. What might be the cause of that? Is it because there's an error with the name or the registration number? Would the next steps be then to contact CNPS, or is there something else that could be the cause?
It's name, number, or they haven't selected the correct practice year. So yes, the next step would be to contact CNPS and see what's going on there.
A question that says, my husband has a New York license and has currency of practice. Nursing current experience ceased last November. Please book a consultation with us. Whoever, I see you say my husband and I see so I'm not sure who has the nursing inquiries, but whoever has the nursing inquiries, please book a consultation with us. We will display the QR code before we leave. We'll need to discuss further based on your peculiarities. I see another question. I have completed LPN in Canada and I was an RM back in Ghana. I want to know the process to write the NCLEX since I passed the license in Canada. Please book a consultation with us. We'll need to ask you questions just to understand and get the full picture so we can advise you accordingly. Another question, do I have an easier pathway to RN if I have current practice and pass the NCLEX already, or will I still be required to do a bridging program? If you have current practice, as long as you've worked as a registered nurse anywhere in the world for at least 450 hours within the last 2 years, or 1,125 RN hours within the last 5 years, you have a currency of practice requirements. You don't need to do a bridging program. The only time you need to do a bridging program is if we receive your education credential assessment report and it states that the Canadian equivalency is not comparable. So please book a consultation too, but that's basically how it works. If you have the currency hours, you meet our currency requirement, but we have another requirement known as nursing education. For that, we need a document directly from any of these organizations like WES, IQAS, NNAS, any of those organizations.
I put the link to the consultation requests in the chat for if anybody wants to book a consultation with the navigator.
Okay. I see another question. If you have the RN license, but you haven't gotten a job yet, can you still renew your license starting August? That would depend if within the last 2 years. So if you've gotten your license with us, you would need to keep track of your practice hours and calculate within the last 2 years, have you worked as a registered nurse anywhere in the world for at least 450 hours? Or within the last 5 years, have you worked as a registered nurse for at least 1,125 hours? You have to calculate those hours, last 2 years, last 5 years. If you have those hours, you can renew your permit coming this August.
Well, I think we are out of time. So I will just share my screen here so everyone can contact me if they have. I will be sending out a resource to everyone who has registered for this event, and it will include a lot of the resources that our presenters have talked about today. So the tools and guides from and the handbook for IENs and the competence advisor that Shelley had talked about, and then also the customer service experts, the navigators, um, the phone numbers and emails to contact if you need more support that CRNA were chatted about. So you are supported in this, and I also have a bunch of organizations that can help with your process to getting licensed, and also some study guides that are available to you for free that AAN has kindly advised me to share with you. So I really appreciate everyone taking some time out of their day to come and learn from our presenters, and a huge thank you to them for their very clear and comprehensive presentation. I really appreciate it. Any questions about your bursary can go to me. We're having our office hours the 10th of this month, so you can drop in and see me then, or you're always welcome to give me a call or send me an email at bn@rhpap.ca. Okay, thank you, everyone. You have a great afternoon.